Alright, so last time we went over how to solve equations just combining like terms and using inverse operations. The only thing we're really adding today is that we're going to be distributing. And we're going to be talking about some properties of equality, and most of these you already understand, you just haven't called them that yet. Alright, so this is part 2, solving multi-step. Just adding to what we already know. So the steps to solving any equation, you have your first step is to simplify. Your goal is to get the variable on one side. You want to distribute or add like terms, like what we were doing last time. And you want to get it as simplified as you can first. And then your second step, so then your first real step is to get rid of the constant. You're adding or subtracting that for the most part. And then your second step is to get rid of that creepy coefficient, or the thing that's hanging on. It usually looks like this, 3x. This is the coefficient. Okay, a constant would be something like this. Okay, where it's at the end, it has no variable. Coefficients have variables, constants don't. Okay, and then we just multiply or divide by that last thing. So here, adding and subtracting. Last step, multiplying and dividing. And I'll show you one example when it kind of breaks those rules. Not really, because we're really just doing this to first step. Step 0. Okay, so step 0 says to simplify. So we have to simplify as much as possible first. Alright, so we've got a 3m and a 2m we want to combine. We get 5m. And we have a -2 and a -7 we want to combine, which becomes -9. Over here we have 1. So that was my step 1. And I've simplified this as far, I've only got one variable, I've got a number without a variable on that same side, and I've got my equal sign that only has one thing hanging out over there. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is my step 1. I'm going to add 9 to both sides. I'm going to get rid of my constant being 9. So I add 9 to both sides and I get 5m equals 10. Then my very next step is going to be divide. So we're going to divide both sides by that creepy coefficient. It's 5. And 10 divided by 5 is 2 equals m. And as you can see, we're all beautifully done. Alright, let's try that again with a new problem. So this time we've got a weird thing in the way. We've got this gigantic line. And some of you already know what this is. This line just means divide. So if I want to undo division, I need to multiply. So we are going to multiply both sides of this equation by what it is being divided by, which is 4. So I'm multiplying both sides by 4, and I'm getting and n minus 2 equals 36. So my first step in simplifying was getting rid of that gigantic division line. Alright? So this time it was kind of a little weird thing going on. Alright, so now my step 1 is to get rid of that +2 or that -2 or that constant. So I need to add 2 to both sides. So then I get n equals, and then 36 plus 2 is 38. And I actually have no more steps that I need to do there. Okay. Now let's try this one. This is the first time we're seeing distribution this year. So let's go ahead and take this 4 and distribute it through. And we get 4n plus 12. Now if you struggle with seeing what's happening with distribution, you can go ahead and try box method, which is where you draw a box, you put the thing in front of the parentheses on the side, and then you put the stuff on top. And I get 4n plus 12. If you notice, that's exactly what I wrote. And that equals 13. So we did our first step, our step 0. Now I need to do my step where I get rid of my constant. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. From here I have 4n, and 13 minus 12 is 1. So from here, I now need to get rid of my creepy coefficient that's holding on for dear life. And I'm going to divide, because it's multiplying, by 4. So I get n equals, and I have 1 divided by 4, which you can see as the decimal is 0.25. Or you could just leave it as the fraction 1/4. Hopefully you're doing okay, because now I want you to go ahead and try this problem out and solve. Just so you know, this is a nice pretty answer. It's not a fraction.